went to Shinjuku. The giant TV in front of the station was showing a baseball match between Osaka and Taiyo. I bought a copy of the evening paper at the station store and strolled down the streets as I pored over the articles. There was a story about one of the murders. The headline read, "Dismemberment Murder in Musashino." However, the article itself didn't have any new information. That made sense, seeing how I was on the case myself, yet still clueless about a ton of things. Seems like everything around here is in order for now. Chucked the newspaper into the trash bin, decided to go elsewhere. Alright, let's take a swing by Moonworld then. There's the park, but I feel like we're just not going to learn anything new at the park at this point. I went over to Moonworld back in Kichijoji. Hatsune seemed down for some reason.
Coffee もらえるかな?
She led me to the counter where I found Kyoko looking my way with an indecipherable gaze. Kyoko's shoulders were drooped as she cradled a coffee cup handle, literally just a handle, in her hands. The broken handle had belonged to a cup that Kyoko's late husband had gifted her, if my memory served me right. Oh, shit. It wasn't fancy by any means, but he'd apparently gotten it from a company in England. Oh yeah, anyone would, as soon as they learned it was a memento. I swiveled around to find Hatsune working, head hung like she'd found out the end of the world was near. She wasn't going to be in any state to handle customers unless something was done.
Amemiya-san, ちょっといいかな?
I held up my hand before she'd get any closer and brought my coffee over to a table. Okay, how do I tackle this? That is a good question. How do we tackle this? Tell her to give Kyoko a makeup present, console her. Interesting options. I feel like consoling her isn't the right option because obviously that's what Kyoko's been doing. And just being like, hey, listen, it's not a big deal. It's not your fault. It's alright. She's already been hearing that. And clearly it ain't working. Let's tell her to give a makeup.
こういうのはどうだろう?
I broke the ice as I looked Hatsune in the eye.
このまま落ち込んでいたって仕方がない。だから今度は雨宮さんが京子にプレゼントするんだ。
プレゼント？
贈り物さ。雨宮さんが一生懸命働いて。
I figured that'd take some of the weight off Hatsune's shoulders.
でもそれはもう京子さんが大切にしていたカップじゃないですから。
割れたカップに込められた思い出が消えるわけじゃないし、雨宮さんからもらったカップなら京子は必ず大切にすると思うよ。
I gave Hatsune a reassuring pat on the head.
なんせこんなによくできた従業員なんだから。
そんなことないです。
今度のカップには君の頑張りが思い出として込められるんだ。
いいえ、素敵だと思います。
There we go.
ありがとうございます。
Hatsune bowed with a hint of red on her cheeks before ambling over to Kyoko. This should take care of things. I hope my suggestion had successfully derailed her original train of thought at least. Before long, Hatsune bowed deeply and moved away from the counter, so I took my mostly empty cup back to Kyoko.
どうだ?
あそこまで言われて。
Kyoko refilled my cup.
まあでも沈まれているよりはずっといいわ。ありがとう時坂くん。でもあんな臭いセリフはどうかと思うわよ。
What can I say? I'm just a cheesy guy. It ain't easy being cheese.
聞かなかったことにしてくれ。
I returned to my office only to find Woazumi sitting on the sofa, scowling like he had a stick shoved up his ass.
何勝手に入ってんだ。
てめえを待ってたんだよ。井の頭の仏の身元が分かったぞ。
Woazumi fished out his notebook and read through it.
今村遥。
Okay.
法屋にある大場女学院の学生だ。
And that's
2
what we
月
had
20日頃
figured.
に失踪したらしい。
So what the fuck happened to Yui? I'm glad Yui didn't get, absolutely fucking dismembered like that. But also that means she's still somewhere. Something's going on.
やはり出たか。
I wish fears had come true.
確かお前その学院に出入りしていたよな。
ああ、行方不明者の捜索だった。
解決したじゃねえ
Ozumi lit a cigarette.
つまりこちらで調べていた件がただの失踪事件ではないということになった。
か。殺されてちゃそうだろうな。誘拐か。
可能性としてはそう。
こっちで今村家を調べる必要がありそうだな。
去年有名人の子供が誘拐されたってこともあったからな。
It was also possible the girl's parents were threatened to get the police out of it.
しかし営利誘拐の犯人がここまで遺体をばらす必要があるのか。
身元を隠すためだったのかもしれん。事実今まで分からなかったわけだからな。
だとしたらおかしいだろ。頭が残ってたんだぞ。
The head would have been the first thing the culprit would hide if they'd been trying to conceal the victim's identity.
銅はでかいからな。公園まで運ぶのは面倒だろうさ。
それでも頭を捨てた理由にはならない。
Ozumi
とに
snorted.
かく今村遥の件に関して彼女を殺した奴がいることは確かだ。
So, what did that mean for Yui Nishizona?
俺はもう一人行方を探しているのがいる。
Haruki Imamoto's death made it even likelier that someone had gotten to Yui Nishizona. Though it's still too early to say, unless her body turned up, of course.
他にてめえの知り合いで失踪している奴はいないだろう
Not yet.
な。
今のところは
I prayed the body count didn't stack any higher. Yeah, I don't have high hopes. Something deep in my gut told me this was far from over. Yeah, I feel that. Home sweet home.
おかえりなさい兄さん。
ゆかり。
It was almost midnight.
ええ、洗い物や片付けをしていましたから。
Yukari cocked an eyebrow, her face impassive.
それがどうかしましたか。
いや、いつもすまないな。
そろそろ新宿の事務所も掃除に行かないといけないでしょ。
Yukari grinned.
向こうはまだ綺麗だぞ。
兄さんの綺麗は当てになりません。
Oh boy. Yeah, I thought just being able to see the floor was good enough. I mean, shit, that's my fucking...
お茶を飲まれますか。
That's my criteria.
ああ、そうだな。
Some hot green tea was nice every now and then. True.
それでは入れてきますので、その間に着替えてくださいね。
I returned to my room and changed my clothes. Yukari came in with a teacup just as I finished tying my sash.
どうぞ。
ああ、ありがとうよ。
I took the cup, but Yukari just kept staring at my face, never budging an inch.
どうした？
浮かない顔をしていますね。
Wild. Yukari worriedly broke her silence after a moment's hesitation.
そうか。
Haruki Imamoto's ultimate fate weighed heavy on my mind. It must have shown on my face.
あまりよろしくない知らせがあったのですか。
お前に隠し事はできないな。
My lips curled into a sad
井の
smile.
頭公園で発見された遺体の身元が判明した。今村遥だ。
そうですか。
西園由衣はまだ行方不明のままだ。
ええ、お願いします。
なあゆかり、最近学院の中で何か気になったこととかはないか？
I quickly changed the subject before the both of us ended up going to bed on a dour note.
気になったことですか。
Yukari stroked her chin as she molded it over.
最近病気や怪我をして休む人が増えているので気をつけるようにと赤崎先生がおっしゃっていました。
原因は？
さあ、そこまではわかりません。
そうか。ありがとうゆかり。
いえ、私にできることなどこのくらいですから。
あとさっきのことは誰にも言わないでくれるか？
ええ、もちろん。それでは兄さん。
ああ、おやすみ。
Yukari retired to her room. I decided to follow her example and hit the hay.
では、私は先に行きますので。
Yukari picked up her bag.
ああ、いってらっしゃい。
兄さんも遅刻してはいけませんよ。
わかってる。心配するな。
行ってまいります。
It seemed Yukari had day duty today. Must have been one hell of a workload awaiting her if she had to leave the house before a teacher. I helped myself to some after breakfast coffee as I mulled over the situation at hand. Today was Saturday. School was off tomorrow, so I wanted to do all I could there today. At present, I was waiting on Ozumi to provide more details about Haruki Imamura. Thus, my mind was occupied with thoughts on the murder of Kei Koizumi. She hadn't been a student of Oba Girls Academy, but she was about the same age as Haruki Imamura and Yui Nishizono. Was there anything else that connected them? The only possibility that came to mind was that black egg. Why did the killer place it in her abdomen? Since Haruki Imamura's torso was never recovered, we had no way of finding out if her murderer involved a black egg as well. However, the cases seemed linked when considering that both of them involved similarly aged schoolgirls with missing body parts.
聞いてみるか。
It must have held some significance, since the culprit went out of their way to remove her uterus and make room for it. Fuck if I know, dude. Realizing further speculation would only take me in circles, I decided to go to school. Numerous girls in Oba Girls Academy uniforms were also headed the same way. Though some of them appeared familiar, none made any attempt to look at me. Their treatment never failed to tire me out.
やあ先生。
Nor did hers.
おはよう、朽木さん。
トークでいいと言ったじゃないか。
Toko pouted.
こんなところで呼べるかよ。
おや、意識してくれているのかな。
Clearly. Toko pressed her body against my arm like she was hugging it.
お前な。
Tried gently pushing her away, but Toko kept holding on like a snake and snaring its prey.
こんなところ見られたら怒られるだろう。
In fact, we were already getting some stares from girls on the way to school. And yet they passed right by us without even letting a single crack appear on their masks, for good or for ill.
おはようございます。
ああ、おはよ
Ayama Sato greeted us before walking right past us.
う。ほら、見られただろ
気にしちゃいないさ。
う。俺が
I
気に
cares,
する。
yeah. Seriously, what's with this girl?
あ、そうそう。時坂先生、今日の帰りに時間はあるかな。
Nope. Toko finally freed me before asking that question.
帰り？今日は土曜だから。
Do I have time? I have to make that. Oh. Making me make decisions. God, I keep forgetting that's what right click does. I want to say depends why, but she's going to take that to mean I have the time, right? Like, depends why you're asking. Oh, so you do have the time, right? Because she's a mischievous little shit. Meanwhile, we could say we're busy, so that would, if we ignore her, that frees us up more time to do stuff within the school, right? To do more investigating, because he wanted to do as much investigating at the academy that he could. Before Sunday rolled around, he wasn't able to be at the school, right? I'm thinking we hit her with the I'm busy. Because if we say no problem, obviously we go with her and do whatever. If we say it depends why you're asking, she's going to assume we have no time and we're going to get coerced to going into it. If we say we're busy, there's still probably a way it ends up, like, maybe this is one of those choices that just doesn't matter, but maybe it does, so I'm going to hit you with I'm busy.
調べないといけないこともあるし、忙しいから難しいかもしれないな。
I decided to be honest with her.
仕事熱心なんだね、探偵さんは。
そりゃ、みんなの安全を守りたいからな。
そう。では、あまり無理は言わないことにしておくよ。
Toko seemed a bit discouraged.
何か重要な用事なのか？
当然だろ。
None of Toko's trademark wit was anywhere to be found.
そうか。じゃあ、
See,
な
I
んとか
knew
時
it.
間を作るようにする。
Like, it's probably some way we end up getting roped into it anyway, so our choices doesn't really matter, but there you go. She looked dead serious, meaning she probably wanted to discuss something important.
ありがとう、時坂先生。では放課後、先生の部屋で待っているよ。
Toko waved to me and trotted off, carrying her sketchbook under her arm.
それでは本日の授業はこれで終わります。
I ended my lecture once the bell rang. The students had been as cheery as ever. Still, some of them had asked me questions from time to time, so it at least seemed like they were listening. From what I'd heard, there was some sort of stipulation that they couldn't talk to male teachers outside of class. That made no sense, but it was even weirder how they all just readily accepted it. Regardless, no students hit me up with questions or anything after class. At least that explained why they were all so quiet when I encountered them elsewhere. I was passing through the hallways when I caught sight of a familiar face. Perfect. I've been meaning to talk to her.
佐藤さん、ちょっといいかな。
何ですか？
The tall girl turned around and cocked her head.
少々話を聞きたいのだけど。
今ですか？
I almost surveyed our surroundings.
ここでは先生に怒られると思いますけれど。
俺だって先生な。
ですが、 今は探偵として話を聞くつもり。
まあそうなるね。
Glad she was quick on the uptake.
わかりました。何を話せばいいのでしょうか。
そうだな、西園。
ゆい。
何でもいいんだ。例えばそうだな、
私が知っている限り、ゆいが男性と付き合っていたことはないはずです。
Ayamo sounded rather sure of herself.
そうか。
Investigating male links to her sounded like a lost cause then.
その他には
I highly doubt she had any idea, but I figured it couldn't hurt to ask.
黒い卵。イースターエッグのことでしょうか。
イースターエッグ。
The Christians celebrate Easter with all sorts of painted eggs. However, black was such an ominous color, the association never even crossed my mind. Yeah, no one really dyes their eggs black in Easter, at least not around these parts.
ここはカトリック系の学院ですから、春になると
I mean,
復
it
活祭
isn't
を行うんです
April, so I mean we're around that time period. Is the killer trying to set up for April a big Easter ritual? It's a possibility. Isn't Easter in April? No, Easter's in April. Now I have to fucking Google it because I'm not sure. Okay, well in 2024 it's gonna be on March 31st. Is it in March then? Wait. When is Easter? Is it like the last Sunday of March? Yeah, how is Easter date determined? Because this year it was April 9th. But next year, but in 2024 it's gonna be March 31st. Now I gotta go down this deep dive. Easter is a movable feast, so it doesn't happen on the same day from year to year. In the Gregorian calendar, is always observed on a Sunday between March 22nd and April 25th. Why such a large window? However, in the Eastern Orthodox Church, Easter can be observed between April 5th and May 8th. Why? Over a 500-year period from 16, it just so happens that Easter will have most often been celebrated either March 31st or April 16th. Why? Yeah, how is it determined? That's what Easter Sunday always occurs on the first Sunday after the Paschal full moon. What is the is that why it's mentioning like the moon phases when it tells me dates? Because like every time it goes to a new day, it's like, yo, it's like March 6th, this, moon phase. This is specifically the first Sunday following the full moon that occurs on or after the spring equinox. So the first Sunday after the first full moon after the spring equinox. Okay. And that's why there's a range of like a month it could be in. Because like say the full moon was right before the spring equinox, then you'd have to wait like an entire month to go around before I would come back to it. Okay. I honestly did not know all this about Easter. I legitimately, my brain thought it was a fixed date. I guess I've never paid attention to the date. I'm not a Christian. I don't, it's never been something I kept in mind. Uh-huh. Gotcha. That's fucking weird. but it could be anywhere from late March to early April. I guess that's why I was so confused about it. I was like, is it in April? Maybe it's in March. Well, it's fucking both. Okay, well, I learned something about Easter. So that's what they're getting at, right? I'm starting to think, like, this could just be, you know, a red herring. She's throwing that out there, like, painted eggs. Well, that sounds like Easter. But honestly, now that I'm looking at this and they're saying that an important part of Easter is the full moon, and the fact that every time a new day comes around, they're telling me what phase the moon is in. Well, now I gotta sit here and be like, oh, okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Well, hey, we learned something today. But yeah, I definitely think he's on the right track with adding Easter to the equation.
黒い卵といえば何かあったような気がするんですけれど。
Now, see, if I was really curious, I would
今は思い出せそうにありません。
wager like Googling Easter black egg, but I have a feeling that's a bit too specific and might lead me to some story spoilers if I'm not careful.
いや、焦らなくてもいいよ。ありがとう、佐藤さん。
このようなところでこそこそとお話とは監視いたしませんね。と
Arime suddenly called out to me from behind.
月島さん。
授業以外でみだりに男性と話してはならない。先生ならば当然知っていて叱るべきはずですが。
She sized me up like a predator.
いや
This is bad. Really want to blow my cover if I could help it. God damn it. I don't know. I don't want to tell her the truth. The whole point is that we're trying to be covert about it, right? So goddamn, we can't just be like, oh, I got caught. Well, let's tell her the truth. Uh-oh, got caught again. Let me tell you the truth. Uh-oh, seems I've been caught again. Let me tell you the truth. But at the same time, this is the, what, student council president? That's her title, right? Ah. No, god damn it, that's not what right click does. Yeah, this choice didn't matter at all. You're always going to give her the time of day. That's the thing. I don't know if Reiji could come up with a convincing enough lie to be like, oh, well, I had reason to talk to her. It's because of this. This sucks. And also, I think telling her the truth is obviously very much the wrong idea. There is no good choice here. I'd say we try fibbing, see how it pans out. If it doesn't, we'll just reload and go for this. I genuinely, I don't know. This is such a fuck situation. Because say we do lie, and she doesn't start any, drama over it, but then people start looking at Ayumi here weird. And you can start trouble there, right? But if you tell her the real reason why you're here, and she's someone who but you don't want to tell more people. You don't want that news to spread. What if telling her is a very bad idea? What if she's connected in some way? I don't think she is, but what if she is though? We can't just be telling her, oh yeah, I'm a detective investigating the issues. Why is this school so fucking weird? I get it's the 50s, but still. No conversing with male teachers outside of the classroom. It's so dumb. Alright, yeah, like I said, run this. If it just seems like it doesn't pan out, we'll go back and try this.
授業のことでわからないことがあったようで。
まあそう
違います。
どういうことですか？
Alright. We tried fibbing, it immediately backfired. Oh yeah, she was just asking me a question. No, he was asking about like, oh well, motherfucker. Alright. I quickly scanned the perimeter to make sure none of Orihime's groupies were around before taking a deep breath.
月島さん、実は俺、例の事件を調べている
嘘ならば、もう少し信憑性のあることを言ってもらいたいです。
信用されていませんね。
いやまあ、あまりにも唐突だろうとは思ったんだけれどな。これが本当のことなんだ。
本当なのですか？
Orihime's question was directed not at me, but Ayame.
おそらく本当のことだと思いますが。
そうですか。わかりました。あなた、佐藤さんでしたかしら？
はい。
ああ、待ってくれ。このことは言いふらさないように。
ええ。すみませんでした、時坂先生。
Ayame turned around and left.
あなたを心から信用したわけではありませんが。
Orihime's brow furrowed.
すまないね。黙っていたりして。
そのようなものなのでしょうね。ですが先生、曲がりなりにも今は教師なのですから。
Well, that makes it
規則
difficult
を
to do
破
my
るような
fucking
真似
job.
は慎
わかってる。目立たないようにやるさ。
I definitely wouldn't do it to be banned from talking to the students after all.
目立たぬようにです。
Orihime suddenly heaved a weary sigh.
先生はこの学院についてどう思わ
I
れ
think
ま
it
すか？
sucks shit.
よく指導が行き渡っていると思うよ。ただし、少々学生たちは窮屈だろうなとは思うけれどね。
そうですよね。先生、規則ということでは理不尽なものが多くありませんか？
To me, it sounded like less like she was asking for my opinion and more that she sought vindication.
それでも規則として決められている以上、守るべきものなんじゃないのか
ええ、当然です。ですが、人間とは理性や感情で動く生き物です。抑圧された空間に押し込められていると、徐々に反発力が強まっていくのではないでしょうか。
Orihime speaking facts. Was she truly referring to the students fettered by these strict rules, or was she talking about someone else altogether?
私だって先ほど佐藤さんに注意したばかりだというのに、こうして先生と他愛ない会話をしています。
な。別に悪いことではないと思うけれどね。
If anything, I felt this was far more natural. I knew they were nurturing sheltered young ladies and all, but this school's tradition seemed a little much.
お話が長引きましたね。先生、お引き止めして申し訳ございませんでした。
Orihime started off as if she was running away from me. I returned to the prep room. I could finally focus on investigating since all my lectures were done for the day, but wasn't even sure where to begin. It was break time at the moment, so maybe finding someone to ask some questions would be a good start.
やっほー先生。
Dojiko suddenly swung the door open and barged right in.
どうしたトジコ？
トジコ言うない。
As I had to ignore her belly aching for the time being.
何か用事か？
あ、うん。私さ、1年生に話を聞いてきたんだけどね。
噂。
噂というよりは、むしろおまじないみたいなんだけれどね。
Dojiko began explaining.
黒い卵を身につけて、割れなかったら願いが叶うけど、割れちゃったら黒い聖母がやってきて殺されるって話。
Uh-huh. Now, see, I would Google Black Madonna, but I feel like I'm just gonna get some weird photoshops of the pop star, so...
黒い卵。
なんか知っとうと？
なあトジコ、その話はこの学院だけで流行っているのか？
どうだろうね。他のとこの子には聞いてないからわからないよ。
西園優衣と今村遥はそれを信じていたのか？
どうだろう。1年生の中でもごく一部だったからね。
そうか。
Maybe she and Haruki Momota possessed some sort of connection. If only I had the means to figure out whether she carried around a black egg.
どう先生、私も役に立つでしょう。
ああ、トジコにしては役に立つ情報だったぞ。
だからトジコって言うなってば。
I love her so much. Classes resumed shortly after. I went out into the hallway and poked my gray matter. It was clear I need to gather more information on this black egg rumor. Dojiko said it was known to some of the freshmen, but Ayama Sato clearly wasn't one of them. And unfortunately, I didn't know any other freshmen. But maybe Dr. Akazaki would know something. Hot nurse!
失礼します。
時坂先生、どうかなさいましたか？
ちょっとお尋ねしたいことがありましてね。
あら、お仕事ですか？
そういうことです。先生は1年生の間で流れている
いえ、何ですかそれ？
何でも黒い卵を持っていると願いが叶うそうですよ。
よくあるおまじないですね。
ただ卵を割ってしまうと黒い聖母が現れて殺される。
まあ、そんな噂が流行っているのですか？
ごく一部の学生だけのようですが。
So she doesn't know anything either, huh? It would have been a lucky break if one of the students had gone to talk to her about it, but it seemed that lead was dead in the water.
それが事件と何の関わりが？
直接的な関わりは未だ何も。
Indeed, the Black Egg was involved in Yui Nishizono and Haruki Mamura's disappearances. Kei Koizumi was a different story, but she wasn't from this school. However, both of the missing girls had been freshmen. If I could find a connection between them and the Black Egg, I'd firmly link all my cases.
私もその噂、それとなく聞いてみることにするわ。
ええ、申し訳ありませんけれど、よろしくお願いします。
The bell rang. It seemed classes were done for the day. Where to? No, wait, right. I promised to meet Toko. I'll see what she wants. Guess I'll just stay put and enjoy some smokes until she gets here. Sure would be nice if I had some coffee to go with them, though. Toko entered without even knocking.
待たせたね、探偵さん。
一人か？
Here I thought she'd have Yukari or Toko in tow.
私自身に関する話で、他の人を同席させるわけにもいかないだろう。
お前自身の話？
What the hell was I in for?
私の依頼、少しは進んだのかな？
Nope. I cocked my head, baffled.
依頼。ああ、自分を見つけてほしいというやつか。
まさか忘れていたとは言わないよね。
忘れてはいないが。
It's just that, some other things have taken a higher priority. I hadn't exactly been working on it either.
探偵さんは本業で忙しかったろうから、私の調査が進まないのは分かっていたけれどね。
Toko seemed somewhat glum in spite of her considerate words.
だから今日は探偵さんにもっと情報をあげようと思ったのさ。
情報。
Unfortunately for her, I had bigger fish to fry at the moment.
なあ、お前は黒い卵という言葉に。
黒い卵？確か箱根の温泉卵が黒いんじゃなかったかな。
Well, there went another dead end.
ああ、そうだ。箱根の温泉卵は食べれば寿命が7年伸びると言われているから。
お前な。
We'd seriously gotten off topic.
わかったわかった。
Everything else aside, she was still my client after all.
うん。明日は休みだよね。だからうちに来てもらいたいんだ。
No.
どういうことだ？
本当の私を見つけるには、私のことを知ってもらうのが一番だろう。
I was about to laugh her words off, but I stopped myself when I saw the look on her face. There wasn't so much as a speck of her usual drollery adorning her countenance.
わかったよ。明日だな。
うん。じゃあそうだね。昼頃に吉祥寺駅の前で待っているよ。
Toko spun around to leave, only to abruptly stop in her tracks.
あ、もし忙しいのだったら無理に付き合ってくれなくても構わないからね。
心配するなよ。大丈夫だから。
ありがとう、時坂先生。
Toko gave me a little bow and left. Uh-huh. The Herald of Night dyed the skies orange. Where to? I'd say I go about my usual. I don't see any reason to depart from that. Hit up Shinjuku, head up Moonworld, go home. No real reason to go anywhere else. So, yeah. I returned to Shinjuku, though what I wanted most was to find some clues that crack this case wide open. Decided it'd be best to return to my office to review everything. That's what I'm thinking. It was at that moment I spotted a familiar face in front of Kinokuniya. Takashiro, huh? I witnessed him chatting with a lady who was carrying a shopping bag. Apparently he was working. Certainly not cheating on his wife in broad daylight. Yep, definitely not. Better keep an eye on him just to be safe. I spied on Takashiro from the other side of the road so I wouldn't stand out. Maybe I should go back to my office to get a camera first. Carefully weighed my options, but Takashiro finished his conversation before I could make a decision. Screw it, I'm going in.
よ
なんだ時坂か。
仕事か。
まあな。
Both of us were keeping pretty tight-lipped. Being a detective meant keeping your cards close to your chest. Besides, we're in the middle of a bustling shopping district. You never know who was listening. However, it quickly became apparent that Takashiro had entirely different ideas.
なあ時坂。滝の宮という占い師を知っているか。
He lowered his voice to a barely audible whisper.
滝宮いや、聞いたことはないな。
新宿や池袋で占いをしているらしいんだが、そうか。
それを調べているのか
I asked while taking the conversation to a less populated area.
ああ。良くない毛が出たと言っては金を巻き上げているらしい。
詐欺師。
Fortune tellers like that were a dime a dozen. There were as many people who resorted to dirty deeds to make money as there were stars in the sky, as well as those who had no choice but to rely on them.
こちらでも何か分かったら知らせるが、条件があるぞ。
なんだ
黒い卵というのが何を示しているのか。
The sort of give and take seemed fair to me.
黒い卵そういや、カズナが去年温泉に泊まった時の土産。
温泉卵以外のことで頼む。
I have to hear about those hot spring eggs one more time.
ああ、わかった。
Takashiro nodded.
ま、お互いにやることやろうぜ。
そうだな。じゃあ。
Alright. And then we're gonna swing by Moonworld. I arrived at Moonworld. Coffee here was always the best. You have to keep saying that. However, I found myself faced with unprecedented hustle and bustle as soon as I opened the door.
いらっしゃいませ。
Hatsune turned to me as she raced through the cafe with trays in her hands.
なんだか慌ただしいな。
それが急にお客様がたくさんやってきまして、すみません、すぐにお席を用意しますね。
焦らなくとも大丈夫だよ。
Man, I haven't seen this joint busy in ages.
京子。
The counter was unoccupied. I'd assumed she'd be handling customers alongside Hatsune, but she was nowhere to be found.
お待たせしました時坂さん、こちらへどうぞ。
雨宮さん。
京子さんは今買い物に出かけてて、そしたら急にお客さんが。
Hatsune was clearly at her wit's end.
コーヒーももうそんなに残っていないのに。
Of course we're gonna help out. I was just gonna sit back and watch her struggle. I couldn't just sit back and watch. Now Hatsune was acting like she had the weight of the world crushing her.
雨宮さん。
そんなお客様に悪いですから。
コーヒーの入れ方くらいは心得ているさ。
I got behind the counter and checked the equipment. It was all fairly standard issue, so I quickly realized I'd have no trouble navigating it. Boiled the water, raided the coffee grounds, positioned a nail drip with water in it.
雨宮さんは菓子を用意して。
あ、はい。
Phew, good thing their menu's so small. Poured boiled water under the grounds in the drip. My coffee couldn't even dream of matching Kyoko or Yukari's, but it wasn't half bad.
雨宮さん、できたよ。
Hatsune took the pot of fresh coffee and raced around, delivering it to its intended recipients. Crisis averted. What a relief. Poured the coffee into another pot, made myself a cup, and circled around the counter. A tinge of bitterness stung my tongue after I took up my usual seat and sipped my drink.
まあ、悪くないな。
Customers gradually filtered out, restoring peace and harmony to the cafe.
助かりました時坂さん。ありがとうございます。
いや、俺は全然構いやしないよ。
She knew better than to leave the cafe in the hands of a new hire.
京子さんを責めないでください。私が大丈夫ですからって。
Regret warped Hatsune's countenance.
それにしてもな。
All of a sudden, Kyoko burst in.
初音ちゃんごめん、大変だったでしょ。
おい、京子。
Hatsune grabbed my sleeve before I could chew out Kyoko.
全然平気でしたよ。時坂さんが手伝ってくださったんです。
時坂くんが？
お前が雨宮さんを一人で放っておくからだぞ。
ええ、時坂くんもごめんなさいね。
済んだことだからいいけれどな。
Griping would have been very fair on her. Kyoko manned her station behind the counter.
初音ちゃんがコーヒーを入れたの？
いえ、時坂さんが入れてくださいました。
Kyoko poured herself a cup and took a sip.
ちょっと薄いかしら。それに少しえぐみが残ってるわね。
お前な。
でもうちの味にかなり近いわよ。やるじゃない時坂くん。
I feel like she just robbed me of my one chance to complain. Once things settled down, a question suddenly came to mind.
そうだ。雨宮さん、ちょっといいかな。
初音でいいです。まだ慣れてなくて。
そうなのかい？
はい、ずっと名前で呼ばれていましたから。
うん。では、初音くん。一つ聞きたいことがあるんだけれど、黒い卵という言葉に心当たりはないか？
黒い卵ですか？すみません。
Hatsune sounded quite apologetic.
いや、いいんだ。知らないのなら、そう。
The fact that Hatsune didn't know meant the rumor had likely only spread amongst a select few.
京子はどうだ？
Still asked Kyoko just to be safe.
私？温泉卵？
Fucking hot spring.
うん。お前に聞いたのが間違いだったよ。
何よ。聞いてきたから答えただけじゃない。
I ignored Kyoko's pouting and got
そ
up.
れじゃ、
The sun had already set by the time I returned home.
あら兄さん、お帰りなさい。
ああ、いろいろとあってな。飯は？
心配せずともきちんとありますよ。
Hikari smiled as she brought several steaming plates of food over from the kitchen.
そういえば、先ほど魚住さんからお電話がありました。
魚住？
For a moment, I wondered if some new info had turned up. Whatever the case, dinner came first. Probably wouldn't have the time or stomach for that once he arrived, after all. Unfortunately, I didn't get as long to relax after dinner as I'd hoped.
兄さん、魚住さんがお見えになりました。
うん、そうか。今に通してくれ。
はい。
I made my way to the living room right after Yukari answered the door.
おーレイジ、邪魔するぜ。
何か分かったのか？
まあ、分かったというか、分からなくなったという。
もったいぶらずに話せよ。
They're not sure about the identity.
ああ、井の頭公園で見つかった仏だが、どうやら今村遥だとは断定できないようだ。
なんだって？あれは夏目さんが調べただろう。
Wait. Wait. The corpse found in Inokashira Park. Right. Okay, no.
彼女が調べた後、観察医務員に収容されてもう一度調査をしたんだが、
異なる結果が出た。
腐敗が進行していて断言はできないそうだがな。生前の今村遥の所持物に付着した。
だが夏目さんは顎の骨格から今村遥だと判断していたぞ。
歯の治療跡でもありゃ確実だったんだろうがな。
Osme finished his report with his face all scrunched up.
別人の遺体の可能性か。
そっちの不明者についても捜査中なんだが、何せ物証がない。
待て、どういうことだ？
西園優衣の母親は昨年の秋に亡くなっている。これについては過労による急性心不全の事件性はない。それからしばらくの間、
Yeah,
一人で
she had
生
to do
活してい
some
たようだな。
quote unquote work to pay the bills, yeah? Osme put a cigarette in his mouth.
でだ、警官が行くと自宅の中はきれいに片付けられていたというわけだ。
指紋も出なかったのか？
自分の痕跡を一切残したくなかったのかもしれんな。
Yui Nishizono disappeared in January, shortly after the start of the year. If she'd vanished on her own terms, that would mean her disappearance likely had nothing to do with the case.
可能性として残しておいた方がいいな。
かもしれねえな。
I lit a cigarette and filled my lungs with smoke.
それにしても結局どちらの事件も俺が調べる羽目になってるんじゃないのか？
俺だって調べてるぞ。それにバラバラの方をてめえが調べてるのはそっちの由来があったからだろう。
そんなこと分かってるさ。
A dismembered body that was once judged to be one of the people I was looking for. A buried body with a burnt foot and a black egg in its abdomen. Things would have been far easier if only we could find some link between the two.
若いよ。
That was the only common factor we knew of thus far. But one of the corpses had gone back to being a Jane Doe. That didn't change the fact that they were both female students who were around the same age.
なあ魚住、行方不明になっている女学生は他にいないのか？
売春防止法がそろそろ施行されることもあって減ってはいるようだが、それでもまだ失踪者は多い。
行き先は赤線青線だけじゃないだろうな。進駐軍相手の売船もあるか。
当然犯罪に巻き込まれているのも多いはずだ。
なあ、今後もこんな殺しが続くと思うか？
そうならんために。
Rosemi scowled and brutally stubbed out a cigarette.